Hey ladies and gents, this is Linda, FateChick777, and today I'm coming at you with a guest design team project for SaCrafters. Now this project, when you get it, it has like a base and two sides and then a centerpiece, and it's made out of wood, and it has different words on the top of the centerpiece. And I think it's meant to be like a stand for, holding a photo that you can also alter, at the bottom of the piece. But of course, I didn't turn it into that. I just kind of turned it into a decor item. So I'm going to move my sign out of the way and show you what I came up with. Okay. And let me adjust my camera a bit. This is what I came up with. I know, right? I think it turned out super cute. The paper line I used on it was by Prima, the Time Traveler's Memories. And let me I'm going to bring it back just a little bit, just a slight bit more, just a slight. This is the base that the piece comes with, like I said, wooden. The two sides, let me turn it so you can kind of just see how slender the sides are. And then it comes, let me turn it around so you can see the back a little bit more. It comes with this piece with the word on top, and Saw has ones with different words, but this piece slides into little slats or slots on these edge pieces, and you glue it all together, and then you build your base and go from there. Okay, and obviously, as you see, the one that I chose, this says love at the top, and I decided to make just like a scene out of it, and I wanted it to represent kind of a romantic scene, as you guys know me to do from time to time. Okay, well, every time. Anyway, so I chose another wood word from Saw's shop, and this one says story. Love all her wood words. I love, of course, and I always choose wood because they're just more sturdy to work with. She has most of her wood products are I believe kind of duplicated in chipboard products, but I tend to go, like I said, with the wood because you guys see how I like to layer things, so I like them a little more sturdy. But her chipboard products, I mean, I use a few of them, like the brick wall, things like that I can cut apart. But those would be real awesome, a little bit more flat, lightweight for, choosing when you're doing like maybe canvas or layouts, things like that. Anyway, and so I chose this beautiful script word. She's got quite a few of different words it is in the script format, and I chose the word story so that combined with this obviously says love story. And I wanted it to be kind of shabby, but I also wanted it to be just kind of a little bit kind of fun, a little bit girly grunge, I guess you could say. So the Time Traveler's Memory by Prima, that paper line was perfect in browns, blacks, and I choose browns when I tend to work with Saw's products, as most of you know, because when I use her wood products, I don't really have to change the look of the wood very much. Sometimes I will. Granted, I will just paint it like white or something, but most of the time I leave it in its natural color. I'll add a little, clear shimmer on top and then maybe ink the edges in brown. And then in this case, I took white acrylic paint with sand on over all the embellishments and just added some texture to it. But anyway, so this paper line was perfect, and then I added some pinks to it. So pinks and blacks and browns. And let me adjust my camera up so I can kind of bring this in a little closer for you, and you can kind of get a little personal with it. Okay, so just one moment, please. Every time I try to adjust my camera, my base moves side to side. I don't have it very tight, I guess. Okay. You already saw the back, obviously, and I'll just turn it upside down just for a moment. Yeah, I've covered all the edges, but I wanted you to see, because it's going to be easy to see here, as I usually do, I sewed the perimeter of all the papers. I love doing that. It gives texture, and then I distress the edges with the Prima Distress tool. I've tried to do projects without sewing, and I've done it so much now that it just looks totally plain. I can't not sew my papers. Anyway, so let's kind of take a quick look at this little scene going on. I'm going to just do upright for a moment so it hangs right. I hung a cute arrow here, and the arrow points to the street sign by SaCrafters. So I love that little touch. It's kind of just a little bit of whimsy in here. Okay. And I know elements will be hard to see. I'll try to put some lighting in here, but, and I am filming in daylight. I have windows, but we also have a covered porch, and they're right in front of my windows, so I get no natural light from my windows. So I have daylight lamps, but it kind of turns things to a bluish tinge, I've noticed. But I'm sorry, you guys. Hopefully it's still a good view for you. Maybe if I change my background a little bit, maybe not white and it won't look blue. Anyway, and I do apologize that this is not a start to finish project. I usually try to do that for my projects for SAW. But this took a lot more thought process than I thought it was going to. It took time going back and forth and how I was going to layer things. It took just too much time in thinking versus just, you know, getting my stuff around me, you know, going with my sketch and then, you know, gluing it all together. So, sorry, no start to finish, but hopefully you get the gist of what I've created. Anyway, so let's start at the top. This, like I said, love is part of the project. I wanted to add a little whimsy on the O. I like to kind of do that on a lot of words and stuff from SA's shop because, you know, just adds a little fun to it. But behind, right on top of the O, let me get in so you can see it. You can see kind of that metal flower behind there. And then I know it's going to be hard to see, but right on, you can almost see a little bit of shine right on top of the metal flower. All three of these objects, by the way, are by Prima, Vintage Mechanicals. There's kind of a little gem circle of gems right on top of that flower. And then it's this little lug nut here. So I just thought that added like a touch of whimsy, like I said. And then on top of that, I just began layering. And so the first layer here, this wooden clock with regular numbers comes from SA's shop. When you get it, it's a two-piece set. This is the smaller clock in the set. And then there's a larger clock, which I believe is actually, I'm thinking it's a little bit larger than this overall circle. I believe it is. It's pretty big. Anyway, so chose to use the smaller clock. On top of that, I've layered some Tim Holtz and Prima metal gears here. I've got some in the corner over here. Going to be hard to see, obviously, just layering a Prima resin butterfly here, a little Prima light bulb here that says sweet. On top of that, I've got a Prima resin frame, or actually, this isn't a Prima resin frame. It reminds me of the Prima. It's from the $1.50 bin at Michael's, those resin frames that just came out recently. But they're exact same. I think, isn't Recollections, or not, I want to say, okay, back up. One moment, please. $1.50 bin, not Recollections, but Recollections is kind of the off-brand of Prima, but this is the $1.50 bin resin products. Anyway, back on track. So layer that there. Then on top of that, I layered another wood clock. This one has Roman numerals, and that is from SA's shop. I think it's about a 2-inch in diameter clock here. On top of that, I've layered a Prima clock face, a metal clock face. I'll tip it, you can kind of see the numbers right in there. I've got Prima metal clock hands. You guys know these are pretty much, the clock face and clock hands are staples on everything I do. And then on top of that you can't see, right under the Woodward story from SA's shop, as I mentioned earlier, there is another Tim Holtz gear right underneath that, just to kind of bring it up a little bit. I wanted this word story to really, let me turn it to the side so you can see. I wanted it to really come dimensional off the project there, so I, you know, layered a gear underneath it. And then on top of that, another Prima resin butterfly. Over here to the side, I've got another Tim Holtz gear, and then I've got a Prima metal pipe part there. And then hanging from the word is just some chain from my stash, a little spare parts arrow, and then, like as I stated before, it's pointing to the street sign, and this street sign is from SA's shop. Cutest street signs, and she's got some that are blank in case maybe you want to rub on your own words, and she's also got, I don't know, 5 or 6 different designs of street signs. You get 3 per pack, and they all have different street names on them. This is Lucky Boulevard that I've chosen to use. Hanging from that, I've got some little bead landing tiny gears here. Okay, and then onto the bottom, I've got, this is just a fence from Michael's. Saw does have, or Joann's, pardon me, Saw does have fences in her shop. She's got different shapes and sizes, but, and I have some in my stash, but it just wasn't the length that I was looking for. This is a pretty long length, so I just used one from my stash. And let me kind of turn this so you can get a peek in here of the bottom a little bit closer up. Okay, on the bottom, I've got some more Prima pipe parts here and here, just to kind of go in with the, you know, pipe at the top. I've got another little pipe part in here. I'll just point that out since I'm talking about pipe parts. Let's go to this right side. This wooden penny farthing, it's a little mini one, is from Saw's shop. I love the mini one. She's got mini sizes and then large sizes. I love these because they just perfect and layer just so cutely. And then what I did at the top where the handlebars are, this Prima metal faucet was just the perfect shape to simulate the handlebars that was on that penny farthing. So I just glued it right over the top. Saw does have wooden faucets in her shop. I believe they're a little bit bigger than this, but those are available. On front of the tire of the penny farthing, there is a teeny tiny, you can just see a little poke of white poking out there. A piece of white poking out there. That is a tiny little spare parts metal clock. On top of that, this wood word noted came from Saw's shop. I love to also use that word on a lot of my projects, as you guys know. On the O, I wanted to play off the O again as I did on the top on the word love. So I put a little bead landing gear on here. I added tiny little Prima metal clock hands, and then this is a little Prima metal bolt on top of that. To the right of the penny farthing, again, another Prima metal flower, just very similar to the one that's on top of the O on the love that I showed you earlier. So it all ties in. I've got a ton of Wild Orchid Craft and Prima flowers down here. The Prima flowers are from the collections. I believe it's like Something Blue and Time Traveler's Memory collections in here. I've got a little bead landing gear right here. This is a little Prima butterfly. Paper butterfly. It's from the Engraver collection. Over in this corner, a bunch of flowers again. I've got a little Tim Holtz gear kind of tucked in here. I'll turn it to the side and show you. Little gear tucked in here. Told you about the little pipe part in the back there. And then sitting kind of right here in front, this is a little XO, a wooden XO from SaCrafters shop. Super cute. I love these XOs. This XO has an arrow through the center of both letters, which is, you can see the tail end of it, but not the other part of it. I kind of covered that up. But Saw also has other wooden words with the arrow that runs through the entire length of the word. Super cute. I've got to get my hands on them. I keep saying I got to do it and then I don't do it, but I will do it soon. Anyway, behind the O, again, I wanted to play off the O because I wanted it to kind of be a theme. I did it on the love, like I've said, and then trailed down to the right edge on the noted, and then over to the XO. And I did that also because it kind of gives you that triangular line of vision. When you create things, it's always nice to do it in odd numbers and kind of have a triangular pattern when you have a theme, so it kind of draws your eye totally in. So that's what I've done here on the O. Prima metal clock behind it. On top of the O, I've got, again, another Prima clock hand. And then I've got a little tiny bead landing gear here, and then a little teeny tiny Prima metal flower. And again, with the triangular pattern, clock hand, metal clock face. That's what I had done over here. Clock hands, metal clock face. Up to the center, clock hand, metal clock face. So again, a triangular vision there. And I just kind of, you know, I haven't talked about that in a long time, but I'm getting a lot of newbies to my channel. So, you know, I just kind of wanted to give you a few tips when you're creating things. Also what I did to add, I already talked about the acrylic paint mixed with sand, and you can see that, you know, I use a Pounce foam brush and I pounce it on so you can really see it on like my wooden words and stuff, but it's all over the embellishments. Let me pull in there. You can kind of see the texture. There it is on the fence there. Anyway, I also decided to take Prima's 3D matte paste and Prima's glass beads, the crystal glass beads, and add to my project here. So I added some down here in this corner. And then I added some on the penny farthing, trailing onto the flowers. And then up here I added some on the O, on the story, down the O on the clock, a little bit over here on the pipe, and a little bit over here on this edge near the butterfly. And as you noticed, I did that in 5 areas, again with the odd numbers. Okay, and then I wanted the beads to pop out a little bit, so you can see it really good up here. I'm sorry I'm moving around so much here. So I took that acrylic paint mixed with sand and I kind of dabbed it on top of the beads there, and I just thought that added just a cute effect, brought the white out from other white areas that I've, or embellishments that I've used on projects, so it brought a little bit of white texture to that to kind of tie in with that color. And I think that about does it for this project. So I will have the links down below to SaCrafters.com. I will have the links down below to my Pinterest and blog account. If I always try to get a blog post up so you have pictures of my projects if you want to see, you know, some close-up details. Perhaps this video is enough for you, but a lot of you like to go to blogs. But if I don't have a particular post for that project, in this case I may not have it for this particular project, I always post it on my Pinterest account in my thing titled My Projects. Nice and easy to see. And you can see everything that I've created. So anyway, like I said, I'll have the links down below to SaCrafters and my stuff. And I will also have a coupon code for you, Linda Fans, F-A-N-S, all one word in caps. It is 10% off a $30 order. I thank you for sharing your time with me, and I'll talk with you again soon. Bye.